guys, it's Alice, and today I'm going to do one of those tier ranking things and rank my favorite book genres. This was a suggestion from one of you guys, so thank you very much, and yeah, let's just get into it. So I'm going to rank all of these categories, and we have love it, like, enjoy sometimes, meh, I'd rather not, and no thanks. And the first category we have is action and adventure, and I really enjoy action and adventure. I probably lean more towards adventure than action, and I really like that genre, but I don't read a lot of it, so I feel like maybe we should put that in enjoy sometimes. The second genre is biographies, and I like biographies. I enjoy them sometimes. I have to be pretty interested in the person to be bothered with it, and I probably like autobiographies more. So I feel like biographies is also enjoy sometimes. I have a feeling, by the way, that most of these are gonna end up like pretty high on this tier list because I read a little bit of everything, and I can usually think of like one book in each genre that I've really liked. So I never like write a whole genre off, I don't feel. But yeah, we'll see. The next genre is chick lit, and this is an interesting one because I think chick lit is a stupid genre to have. Like, I don't think we need it anymore. I don't know if we ever needed it. But I think that most things that go under chick lit can really just be placed in other genres, and I don't know, I just don't like the term chick lit. I feel like we should have moved on from it, and to be honest, I don't usually read chick lit at all. So I think that I'm gonna put them in I'd rather not. I don't know, I very rarely read it, but again, I think that chick lit is like a stupid, it's a stupid genre. That doesn't mean I think the books that are placed under chick lit are stupid. I think the genre, like the use of the genre, is stupid. Then we have children's books, which I don't read a lot of children's books. The only children's books I read and that I really like reading are like my favorite books from childhood, but I don't read any new children's books. I think children's books are great. I think that they can be great for adults too, but for me, I think I would put them in meh. Yeah, it's like between meh and I'd rather not, but we're just gonna put it in meh for now. Then we have classics, which is a super broad genre. Like, again, there are a lot of different types of books that are considered classics, and they can be in all kinds of other genres too. But I generally like reading classics, so I'm gonna put this in like. Next we have comic books and graphic novels, and I don't read a lot of those. I like graphic novels, but I very rarely buy them unless I'm in a bookshop and I can like actually look at the art and stuff. And I sometimes feel like they're very expensive and they're so quick to read that I usually just like, I'll pick up a novel instead. So I think that's gonna be an enjoy sometimes. I feel like that's more graphic novels than comic books though. I don't read like any comic books. Then we have contemporary, which is probably one of my favorite genres because I read a lot of contemporary books. So this might actually be our first love it. The next one is cooking, and I really like cookbooks. It really depends on the cookbook, but I use them. Not a lot, but I use them. So, I don't know. I don't really like those cookbooks where there's a lot of reading in it. Like, I like cookbooks that only have recipes, I guess. So, I don't know. Enjoy sometimes because I enjoy them sometimes. Dystopia is one of my favorite genres, so we're just gonna place that very quickly and love it. I really feel like I don't read enough dystopia. I sometimes have a hard time finding dystopian novels that I really am very, very interested in, but usually when I read them, I really, really enjoy them. Then we have essays, which, again, I don't read a lot of essays, and this might be one of the few genres where I can't think of a single essay collection that I've read that I have like absolutely loved. Usually they're like 3, usually 2-star reads for me. So I actually think that this might be no thanks. I am just not, I don't know, maybe I haven't found the right one, but yeah, not that into essays. The next one is fantasy, which I don't read a lot of, but I feel like I have read quite a lot of fantasy. I was much more into fantasy when I was like in my early 20s. So I feel like this is another one that's like enjoy sometimes. I will say though, I usually enjoy like heavy fantasy and not very light fantasy. If that makes any sense, that's a weird way to put it, but yeah. Then we have historical fiction. This is one of those I don't know where to place because I usually don't read that many books that are like pure historical fiction. And lately, when I have read historical fiction, I haven't loved it. So, I don't know. I enjoy it sometimes. I can think of like several ones that I have really liked, so I guess I enjoy it sometimes. Then we have history books, and I really like history. I'm very interested in it. Again, it depends on what part of history we're talking about, and I think sometimes history books can be really dry. So this is another one that I enjoy sometimes. I think I was right in most of these ending up in enjoy sometimes. Next, we have horror. And I can only deal with very, very light horror. I much prefer like things that are spooky and atmospheric, but I can't take like straight up horror, like really scary books. So I think that I'm gonna put this in I'd rather not, because I would rather not piss my pants. Then we have literary fiction, and this is one of my favorite genres ever. Although, to be honest, if someone asked me like what is literary fiction, I have no idea. I just know that a lot of the books that I love end up under that banner. So literary fiction is love it. The next one is memoir, and I really like memoirs. I should get back into reading them. I like read a lot of them like last year or the year before, and I loved so many of them. Like I think 90% of them were either 4 or 5-star reads. So I obviously really like memoirs, so we're gonna put that in like. Then we have middle grade. And I feel like I sort of feel the same about this as I do about children's books, but as an adult, I am more attracted to middle grade than children's books. But I feel like they're both kind of meh to me. Like every once in a while I'll find one that I want to read, but it doesn't happen that often, so this is like completely in the middle. Next we have mystery, and if you've been on my channel for a while, you'll know that I really like mystery. I don't like it, I actually love it. After that we have paranormal, and I don't like paranormal books, to be honest. I don't know, what makes a book paranormal? I feel like what I associate with paranormal books are like YA paranormal romance, and that is like so not my thing. So like if it's a ghost or something and it's an adult literary fiction novel, I don't mind it. But I don't think I really like straight up paranormal. So we're gonna put that in like I'd rather not. Or actually, I think I'm gonna put it in no thanks. If any of you have any recommendations for like literary fiction paranormal, is that a thing? Are there any books that like fit that? Because I might be interested in reading that. Then we have poetry, which I really, really like. I don't read a lot of it anymore, but I'd say that poetry is one of my favorite genres, and I'm gonna put it in like. Next up, we have romance. And if you know me at all, you'll know that this goes in the no thanks pile. Now, science fiction is another one of those genres I don't feel like I've read that much, but I usually quite enjoy science fiction. I think that I like light science fiction more than like just very heavy science fiction. So we're gonna put this in like. Then we have self-help. Don't read a lot of self-help books. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I mean, some of them are a little like iffy, like, do you guys remember The Secret when that was all the rage? I read that book and I was like, this is... Sorry if that book's helped some people. If it did, that was great, but for me, it was not it. So I think that they can be helpful sometimes, but I've never found one that has helped me that much, so maybe it would be in like I'd rather not. Then we have short stories, and this is a difficult genre for me because short stories, again, it can be so many different things. I was really into them a couple of years ago, and every once in a while I will read one. But to be honest, I've found that in a lot of short story collections that I've read, I literally don't remember any of the stories after a couple of months. So to be honest, even though I have read, not a lot, but like some short stories, I think this is gonna be in like the meh category. At least right now, I feel a little meh about it. Thrillers, on the other hand, I am not meh about. I love thrillers. So do I like them or do I love them? I think it's gonna be love. At least right now, I'm really in like a thriller, mystery thriller mood. So it's like between like and love, but right now, I love it. Then we have travel books, and I haven't read a whole lot of travel books, to be honest. I think that some of them can be really good, but I have read a few that were not that good, so this is like a meh genre for me. I think there are some really good ones out there, but I don't think all of them are that good. I mean, you can kind of say that for all genres, but whatever. Second to last, we have true crime. I really like true crime, both in like book form and TV series and movies. I haven't read that many books, but I usually really like them. So I feel like it's a like. I feel like most of the ones that I have read, I have found very interesting. Lastly, we have YA. And I always feel weird talking about YA because I know so many people love it even when they're adults, but I feel like I've just sort of grown out of it, to be honest. I don't find most of them that interesting, and they have a lot of like tropes often that I don't like. I think YA can be really good, and I have a couple that I've read that are absolutely amazing, but I have a really hard time finding those books, so I usually just don't read YA at all. So for me, YA is like, I'd rather not, because I very rarely pick it up. Alright, so those are the final results. I feel like this was much more like evenly spread than I thought it was going to be. I really thought that everything was going to be like enjoy sometimes, but I feel like this is pretty accurate. I might move the children's one from meh to I'd rather not. But I also feel like I don't read a lot of children's books, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, maybe it should be like this instead. Maybe that's more accurate. Just to go through these quickly, in the no thanks category, we have essays, paranormal, and romance, and I feel like that's completely right. In the I'd rather not category, we have chick lit. Again, chick lit is like, I feel like I'd rather not, mostly because I don't like the genre, the use of the genre chick lit. We have horror, self-help, YA, and children's. I feel like that's pretty good. Meh is middle grade, short stories, and travel. I also think that's pretty accurate. Enjoy sometimes is action and adventure, biographies, comic books and graphic novels, cooking, fantasy, historical fiction, and history. I feel like that's also pretty accurate. Like, we have classics, memoir, poetry, science fiction, and true crime. This is absolutely accurate. And then I love contemporary, dystopia, literary fiction, mystery, and thrillers. That one is like absolutely on point, I feel. Okay guys, that was everything I had for you today. Honestly, this was really, really fun. I have an idea for another one of these that I'm gonna do that like no one is gonna be interested in, but I think I'm gonna do it anyway because this was very, very fun. I'd love to know how you would place these, like what are your loves and what are your no thanks, because I think that's really interesting. I think something like this says a lot about your reading taste, and yeah, really, really fun. I will see you guys soon. Bye!